Do you have ambitions to dominate Africa with your business, or are you currently a professional services firm, for example, with African operations, looking to differentiate a little? Well, it looks like the .africa domain name will soon be available, which is good news for brands, and about time too. I've got Jeremy Speres, Senior Associate Speres & Fisher, on the country's one of the country's top IP and trademark law firms, on the line, just to find out a little bit more about this development and how one goes about registering in tonight's Africa feature. Welcome, Jeremy.
Thanks, Michael. So thanks for having me on the show. The .africa domain is an exciting development. It's been a long time coming. ICANN, the internet, the global authority that regulates the domain name space, accepted or liberalized the domain name space back in 2012. So what that means is, whereas in the past you only had 22 domain names like .com and .net and .org, they liberalized that space and opened it up to anybody to apply for their own one. So now you can get .shop, .bank, .brand, .coca-cola, etc. And so there's literally thousands of new top-level domains, and in 2012, when they opened up the process, one of the applications for one of those top-level domains was the .africa domain name, and there were two applicants. One was the ZA Central Registry, which is the registry that operates a number of local South African domain names. So they operate all the ones we're familiar with, .co.za, and some of the new ones like .cape Town and .durban, .joburg. So they were one of the applicants, and another one was a Mauritian-registered company called .connect Africa. Because the local South African registry, the ZA Central Registry, had the backing of the majority of African countries, ICANN, the domain name authority, decided to award it to them. That was then challenged by the other applicant in a U.S. court. And recently, in February this year, that court agreed that ICANN can go ahead and award it to the South African.
Why in a U.S. court and not some multilateral forum? Is it because ICANN is just resident in the U.S.?
That's exactly it, yeah. So ICANN is based in California. It's still got strong ties to the U.S. government, so the U.S. court has jurisdiction over ICANN.
So now we finally have this messy farrago behind us. How does one actually go about securing and registering one's brand in that .africa domain?
So it's not available for registration yet. ICANN has simply delegated responsibility to the .za registry, and the proposed timetable is that it'll open for general availability in May of this year. But there is a process before that. If you own a registered trademark, you can actually apply to register your domain name, your trademark as a domain name in the .africa space in probably April. There's a process that you have to go through to validate that your trademark is in fact registered, and we assist clients with that. The trademark holders are essentially afforded a preferential period before it opens to the public to register their brands as domain names, just to avoid what we call cyber squatting, where nefarious third parties hijack your brand online. So trademark holders are given this preferential period, and then after that it opens up to the general public. And
they try and sell it back to you at an exorbitant fee, and we've heard some very interesting stories about cyber squatting over the years. So you reckon that sunrise period should start beginning of April, and then we'll have general availability sometime in May, but we don't have any firm news on exactly when that's going to be.
No, the information coming out of the registry is that's the proposed timetable. It could change, barring some kind of an appeal or in the U.S. litigation. But that's it's a very expensive process. That's unlikely. We're working on that as the proposed timetable.
Jeremy Speres, Senior Associate Speres & Fisher, saying that if you're a brand, a trademark, and you want to register on .africa, it's certainly good to start paying attention. It looks like everything will be all systems go for the brands, at least in that sunrise period come the first week of April, and then it'll open up to the general public, and we'll probably see a big rush to be the next classic business .africa. Up next, some myth-busting when it comes to those tax-free savings and investment solutions. Stay tuned.